Hey guys, welcome back. This is going to be 11.7. This will be, Tuesday. So hopefully you guys are doing okay, keeping up with everything, and not getting too bored. I know I'm getting kind of bored. As promised, we're going to be reviewing. Now, an important thing that you're definitely going to cover in every math class is solving systems of equations. That's when you had two equations. This is what we did right after Christmas break. I know a lot of you loved it, not, but we're going to review it because it's important. So we're going to start by talking about substitution. And so this is, remember on my slideshow, I had a picture of like a sub in basketball because you're subbing in a player in basketball for another player. So you're switching them out. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing here to solve. So you always try to look for a variable that's by itself on an equal sign. So if I look at these two equations, on this equation, at the equal sign, x is all by itself. So this is what I want. Okay? Down here you have an x and a y and a number. So we don't want that. Okay? We want somewhere, one of our two equations, to have a variable all by itself. So x equals -2, that means x is -2. So in the second equation, I can plug in -2 for x. Okay? So I'm going to rewrite -2 where I saw x. So this is going to be the equation 2. So -2, not sure why I did that, plus 3y equals 4. Now, you have to solve for y. So we have to get y by itself. So we got to get rid of this -2 first, just like on our homework from the past couple days. So let's add 2 over. So you have 3y equals 6. Now you got to solve for y, get y all by itself. So I'm going to divide by 3. Y equals 2. Now when you're solving equations though, you need an x and a y. So our answer is going to be an ordered pair, x comma y. Well, we found 2. We just need to find the x. So what we do is we find one of the equations where you can plug in y, which if you see this top one, there's nowhere to plug in y. But if you look, they already tell you what x is, right? They say x equals -2. So they already tell you what x is. So you actually already know your ordered pair. Now what you could also do is plug in 2 for y. So you have x plus 3 times 2 equals 4. 3 times 2 gets you 6. How do you solve for x? You subtract 6. 4 minus 6 is -2. And so either way you get the same thing. So this one, you'll have some of these that are nice. They tell you one of them right off the bat. Let's keep going on. Now I chose these straight off the homework. So these are probably the evens. So I recommend watching the entire video because it will definitely help. So here, again, we're looking for a variable that's all by itself, which we have right here. We have y is 2x. And so where you see y in the second equation, we're going to sub in 2x for y. So y is getting changed out for 2x. So I'm going to plug this guy right in for this. Now I like to write, I'm going to start writing parentheses around these because we need to know to multiply. So we got -6x plus 3 times, we're subbing in 2x equals 16. Well, let's multiply this. You get -6x plus 6x equals 16. Okay. Am I doing that right? Yes. Then, well, -6x plus 6x, well, you combine those because they're on the same side. You get 0 equals 16. So if you're ever solving and you get to a point like this where you get a false statement, the answer is no solutions. If I can spell. No solutions, okay? I'm not sure if you'll get any no solutions, but if you get a false statement, the answer is no solution. Okay. Now again, we're going to look for a spot where our variable is all by itself. And if you look, they're in both equations, equation 1 and equation 2, y is solved for, right? Y is all by itself. So it doesn't really matter which one we sub in. I'm just going to sub in this first guy. So where I see y in the second equation, I'm going to put this right here. Okay? So right there, I'm going to write negative 3x plus 4 equals, well now we still got this, the right side of the equal sign in equation 2. So now we just got to solve. So let's get all the variables on the left, all the numbers on the right. So I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. So those cancel. Negative 3 minus 4, you get negative 7x plus 4 equals negative 10. Well, let's get this term by itself, so we've got to subtract 4 over. Negative 7x equals negative 14. Divide by negative 7, x equals positive 2. So again, your answer is an ordered pair, x comma y. You know one of them, you need to find the other one now. So you can plug this into either of the equations for x. So we're going to kind of sub in again, where we see x, we're going to plug in 2. So I'm just going to plug it into the top one. So you got y equals negative 3. Now there's an x there, so I'm going to say times 2 plus 4. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Plus 4 gets you negative 2. So your answer is x is 2, y is negative 2. Okay. Now you'll have a couple like this. That one is kind of easy. This one requires a little more multiplying and distributing actually. So again, we look for a variable that's all by itself. As we see, there's one right here in equation 1, sorry. Y is by itself. So we have y is this guy right here. Okay. So y is this. So where I see y in the second equation, I'm going to plug in 3x minus 4. So again, it's important to use parentheses. You got 4x plus 3, and then where I see y, I'm going to write this guy right here. But I'm going to write in parentheses. Equals 1. Because it's not just 3 times 3x, it's 3 times 3x minus 4. So you have to distribute the 3 to this and to this. So we have 4x plus, you have to distribute to both. 3 times 3x is 9x. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. So now we got to solve. Well, we can combine these two because they're like terms. So 4x plus 9x, that's 13x. Minus 12 equals 1. We got to solve for x, so it's plus 12 over to both sides. So you get 13x equals 13. Solve for x. X equals 1. Okay, there's half our answer. Now, we want to plug this back in for y. So you could plug it into either equation for x. Plug this in for x to solve for y. But this first equation is probably easier. So we got y equals 3 times 1. So I'm subbing in 1 for x. Minus 4. Well, 3 times 1 is 3. 3 minus 4 gets you negative 1. So your answer as a xy coordinate would be 1 comma negative 1. Okay, now I'm going to do one more. So again, we got to look for the variable that's all by itself on one side of the equal sign, and we see we got that right here. So you have x is this right here, 3y plus 1. So where I see x, I'm going to plug in 3y plus 1. So we got 2. Now again, parentheses when we sub in 3y plus 1 plus 4y equals 12. Okay. 2 times 3y is 6y. 2 times 1 is 2. Plus 4y equals 12. Because we distributed right here. So that's how we got this right here. Is that supposed to be a plus? Nice handwriting. So we can combine like terms on one side of the equal sign. You got a 6y and a 4y. So that's 10y. Plus 2 equals 12. Got to get this term by itself. So let's subtract 2 over. So you got 10y equals 10. Solve for y, you got to divide. You got y equals 1. Okay. Now we got to find what x is. So let's plug in 1 where we see y. So we got x equals 3 times 1 plus 1. Well, 3 times 1 is 3. Plus 1 equals 4. So this is our x. We got to make sure we write it in order because it's x comma y. So the one that equals x goes first, so it'd be 4 comma 1. And that'd be your answer. So hopefully this was an okay lesson, guys. Hopefully it's just review. It should be Tuesday, so feel free to come to our Zoom meeting at 2 for homework questions. I can do however many you need me to do. So please show up if you have any questions, because this is very important. This will be in geometry and intermediate algebra and algebra 2, and basically any math class you're going to take. It'll be on your ACT for sure. So with that, I will see you guys tomorrow.